Jeff, it was a few years back, about two to 3 years ago. I was watching all the podcasts and I would see everyone that was promoting alcohol, and it seemed like that had became a big thing, from, people buying into alcohol businesses and then actually bringing them on the podcast. And that disturbed me inside a lot because I'm like, they're promoting things to the community and they promoting things to the people that is going to end up being a detriment to us. So me, my partner Vernon, my wife, we got together and I had came up with an idea of creating a drink that would taste just like alcohol, but wouldn't be alcohol. And I have every flavor. I have whiskey, I have rum, I have tequila. We also do wine. We also do beer. That's still in the process, but I should have that on the market soon. We shop it right online. If on the bottom of the screen here, you can see how you could buy it. And I want to present you with a bottle because you're my friend. Which taste would you probably prefer?
Let's try the whiskey.
Here you go, brother.
Appreciate you, man.
And I appreciate you.
It's all love, man.
Definitely. Welcome to another episode of The Throne Room, produced by TheBiggaPic. And today, I have a great surprise for you guys. All the way from China, my main brother have came here to visit me, my brother Jeff. You know what I'm saying? I'm so glad you're here today, Jeff. We're gonna have a great talk, great conversation. I will let Jeff explain to you who he is. Very powerful man, influential, and I'm a
little dude.
no, and I'm just glad to have him here today.
So, thank you for having me first.
Absolutely, Jeff.
So, my background basically is kid, grew up, born and raised Jersey for 12 years. I guess you can call it first generation when you're first born. Both parents were immigrants. Pops was French. Mom's is from Beijing. And they moved to America to look for a better life when they already had a great life in their own separate worlds, We won't get into details on that, but, it's one of those love stories where the way that they met even inspires me to be a romantic,
Yeah, no doubt.
It's like, it's crazy. So my mom, the way they met was my mom was at a hotel because she just recently got divorced, her previous divorce. My pops was on a business trip to Beijing, and they met at the hotel bar. None of them, my dad didn't speak Chinese, moms didn't speak French or English, none of them spoke anything.
Wow.
Pops was an artist. The way that they communicated was Pops drawing on a napkin.
Wow.
At a bar. So he'd do like cute little cartoon drawings and all that. And after that, they told me that they would do like phone calls and all that for a year, a couple months. And I was like, how'd y'all do that? Y'all don't speak anything. It's like, it's a love language. Dad would be like, on the phone. Mom would be like, oh, I love you. All that stuff. So, yeah, and then they left their lives, moved to Jersey, opened up shop there, had me. And they tease me to this day, my mom's. Says, you were supposed to happen. You were the miracle, unexpected kid.
Yeah.
Because apparently the rubber broke, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, so Asian kid, I grew up in Route 27. I think it was George Washington's vacation house. It's a landmark. It's either George Washington or Thomas Jefferson, one of their vacation houses, something like that. And grew up like in right between. So like where I grew up over here, we had like the Mexicans. Over there, we had the Jewish community, all the rich people, And over there was where like we call like Franklin Township, mostly African American, Latino, stuff like that. So growing up was kind of weird. Like I never fit in. I didn't speak like my first language was French. I talked to my dad in French, talked to my mom's in Chinese. So when they sent me off to school, I tried both languages. Nobody could understand me. Went back home crying. I was like, Mom, yo, they speak in the school language. I don't understand what anybody's saying. They don't understand me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, ah. So then I'd start listening to these tapes, like, you know, the Mr. Rogers and all that. And I just kept repeating it. So I picked it up eventually through school.
From Mr. Rogers.
From Mr. Rogers or
Yeah.
the ABCs and the, you know, whatever they be playing in the
And
car.
he was
Those
major
kids.
back then, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers. Shout out to Mr. Rogers.
Absolutely. Shout out to Mr.
You know what I'm
Rogers.
saying? So, and that's how I picked up. I was like probably out of the whole school, 3 Asians. 2 of them were nerdy. I didn't like them. Because, you know, that wasn't my personality. They were quiet, timid. Me, I'm more of like the class clown kind of type. And yeah, you know, I used to be, you know, very gentle, very, very nice, very, you know, like to have fun. Then the bullying started because I didn't fit in nowhere. I'm half white, half Chinese, but I look like I'm Filipino or Mexican or, you know, Honduran, something like, you know, racially ambiguous, as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was crazy until like 6th grade, started hanging out with you know, where I really started to make some friends. So, you know, I grew up with people like hip hop was my first music thing where I could self-identify kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember going to my brother's room. My brother, half brother, also named Sean.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Sean.
He had those old, you know, those Walkman, those displays. And I was like, well, what's in here? And we listened to it. It was DMX.
Wow.
So I put that on. I was like, yo, this shit's fire.
Yeah, of
I
course.
was like, whoa, I like this.
Yeah.
So I started listening to more and more and more. And then I think it was like 6th grade when Get Rich or Die Trying came out and like Eminem, the Eminem show and all that. And I didn't even know at the time when you go to like the Best Buys or like the record stores, if you weren't 18, you couldn't get them. Explicit content. I used to, you know, 5-finger discount.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
And yeah, it was like a really, and that's when I started like, you know, starting dressing myself because my mom would used to send me to school with the, you know, the Gap shirts and hand-me-downs and all that, looking like a real weirdo.
Or a well-kept kid. You know, I have that same history too, the button-up shirts, the very proper clothes. It's, you know, funny how that children could be similar in that way. You had parents that didn't want you to look of the, you know, element. They wanted you to look, you know, that GQ style look.
It wasn't even GQ. I was wearing like my female cousin's sweaters. So that was like crazy. I was
Yeah.
rocking pink before Cameron. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt.
With like the elephant on it and stuff like that, and like old Gap sweaters and jeans that didn't even fit. And that was when I started really getting into belts and stuff like that. My dad, old school suit and tie guy, tried to hook me up with suspenders one day. I was like, I ain't wearing no suspenders with a t-shirt, you know, that's. And yeah, that's when I started. So hip hop really influenced me. And growing up, I didn't have cable. We only had like like Fox, NBC, like the normal channel, you know, because cable didn't run through that old house, so we couldn't install it. So I'd have to like walk or bike like 15 minutes down the street to my friend's house where he had cable and MTV and all that. And I was like, yo, that's fly. Yo, I need to get me some Sean John, some Fat Farm, some stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that was like back in the days, like Ross and TJ Maxx, they would have sales sometimes. And I remember like trying to, and Polo was a huge thing too back in the
Always.
day.
Still is.
Yeah, you know, the low lifestyle, yeah.
Mhm.
And in school, I was influenced by like my African American friends. You know, my brothers, shout out to them. Uh, one of my good friends, Jalil Ross. I think he's like the only one that's made it. Like most of the people I went to school with, you know, passed away or had, you know,
Terrible.
yeah. Back in the day, it was like Jersey didn't have that kind of gang thing. It was mostly like little crews. But if you moved, like, because it was a Somerset, Franklin, we didn't really have like Bloods and Crips and all that. I remember everybody saying out this crew called like Chipset or something like that. And they were dangerous. They was the ones in middle school like poking kids and whatnot. And yeah, so that's like that whole thing being around that environment really kind of changed me a bit. From like nice boy to start wearing, you know, dress myself and to afford it because, you know, pops wouldn't, you know, couldn't spend that kind of money. But like, because Fat Farm jeans back in the days was like close to what, like 60 and up to 100.
Yeah, it was money.
Sean Johns, if you had to pay Sean Johns in 12th grade, I mean 6th grade, 12 years old, woo.
Yeah.
I remember getting the OG unit sneakers, my first pair of Air Force Ones. Man, I was the flyest Asian kid over there. With the buzz cut too. Had the fade, you know. And then as soon as I started getting into like that identity, my parents were like, "Oh, moving to China." Like, damn. Just started making real friends. Real looking forward to, you know, because when you're young, you're at that age, you started getting interested in girls. You got your friend group already. You looking forward to middle school. And, you know, back in the day, kids were wild, a little naughty.
They was
And
trying to protect you.
I wouldn't say it was trying to protect you. It was more like a business decision, which is why they moved. My dad used to be part of construction. So, like, you know, the marble floors and the slabs and all that they use for tabletops or for like,
absolutely. Yeah.
my dad did that kind of business.
Oh, okay.
And like statues, marble, granite statues, all that. And yeah, we had like, we was doing good. That was like right before the real estate bubble crash when we left.
Oh, so your whole family left and when?
Yeah, well, my half brother Sean, he stayed. We came back. Grandma was still there. Grandma, grandpa. I know my grandpa passed away already. Grandma was still there. She was living with my uncle in Pennsylvania. So yeah, I moved to China. That identity over there doesn't work. Totally different culture. Didn't speak Chinese at the time because it's different when you speak it in the house. But then when you're really in that society, you have like an accent. You don't really know like.
It comes off different.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you could be born in a Jamaican household, but when you born in America and you go to Jamaica and you speak patois, that, you know, Jamaican language kind of thing, you don't know really what they're saying. You're not entwined, you're not really engulfed in that culture yet. That was me. So again, I felt like a foreigner. Already in America, I felt like a foreigner. You know, so going to China.
How was that experience?
So it's kind of like resetting myself. Like at first, I hated it, acted out, I was like, I really miss my friends. That was still when AOL and MSN Messenger was still kicking. I would, chat with them on there. MySpace was popping at the
Yeah, of
time.
course. I remember MySpace.
MySpace was popping. So yeah, kept in touch with them for a couple years. And then, naturally you lose contact.
Yeah, of course.
The relationship isn't there.
Mm.
So settling in was difficult because to the Chinese, I'm not Chinese. I'm a foreigner.
Even in school, they treated you
Even
like
in
that when you
school.
got there?
Like right when I got there, my mom sent me to a Chinese school. Big mistake. Because you know how the way that their curriculum is compared to the American curriculum.
Sure, much more.
So let's not
richer.
even consider language or culture shock or whatever. Just the curriculum messed me up, so I got held back. Repeated 6th grade. I was ready to go to middle school, man. Come on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So repeated 6th grade, got to get my Chinese up. Studying that Chinese. Those characters. And yeah, busted my ass for like 2 years. So at the time, I'm like 14. And kind of started getting integrated into society. They couldn't really say crap about me anymore because I talk like them, my accent's like them. And yeah. And for them, it was like seeing like a clown show kind of because they never really, like back in 2004, I believe. What was it, 2000? Yeah, 2004. China didn't have a lot of foreigners at the time.
Well,
Yeah.
so I can imagine you was even more of an outsider coming from America. They probably saw you like,
And like me dressing the way I dress, it looked kind of weird to them. Like, why is this dude pants so saggy? And why is he wearing like jerseys and
Were they familiar with hip hop?
So people at school at that time, like the young kids, they were more into like the Chinese, like pop and
Got you.
rock and roll. So you had the kids with like the rock and roll, like you would see in the 80s, the crazy hair and skinny jeans and stuff like that. They was into that
the
stuff.
Motley Crue days.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So no one really listened to hip hop in that circle, like in my school circle.
You didn't put them on?
What do you mean? I tried to, but they can't understand anything. They don't know what they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They never experienced all that. You put him on the DMX, he's like, why is he shouting?
Wow.
It's like, I will listen to their music. I'm like, why is he shouting? So yeah, so I had like no friends at all. And it was like a boarding school kind of, so I had to live there too.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So that was even crazier. And at night, that's when people started, like gaming was huge over there. Everyone was playing the games and I wasn't really into games at that time. I was more like, I like to be outside,
So you finished high school over there and
So middle school over there is when I got into bumped into the hip hop scene in Beijing. So there's this bar street, what we used to call the red light district, basically, in Beijing. Very popular, Twin. There used to be a market. You can call it like kind of a department store kind of thing, right? So there was a shop on the corner, and I look inside. I see Sean John. I see Fat Farm. I saw those old Pele Pele jackets with the stitching. I was like, yo. I see Jordans laid up, fitted caps. The owner wasn't there at the time. I had to like circle back. I was waiting like circling 30 minutes, walk back. The owner was in there. Saw me dressed the way I was, saw him dressed the way I was. He was old at the time. He was probably like, close to his 30s probably. I was just, like 14,
Mm-hmm.
13, 14. And then we just got to talking about hip hop. And, he understood hip hop. Like, he would listen to the old school, like he know about NWA, Biggie, Tupac,
Mm-hmm.
and, 50 Cent, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop, all that.
He's a part of that early 2000s era.
Early 2000s era.
Mm-hmm.
So me and him bonded over that. Even being like a young guy, but with him, I could talk to him on that kind of level.
Mm-hmm.
And we would just share knowledge about like life experiences in America, what it's really like. And that's when I started hanging out with the wrong crowd.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think, because hip hop back in the day was really underground. Like, there wasn't really like club performances or anything like that where you hear hip hop. It was mostly techno rock or EDM or whatever they call it. So them, the ones that those hip hop heads that really wanted to be part of that culture, they was doing like the same things that you would do over here. A little bit of
Marijuana, a little bit of weed.
well, I wouldn't say that. I live in China, so but
Yeah, I understand.
so yeah, got into that crowd and Chinese society is like really different. So when you like to normal people, you would be considered an outcast because you're weird, you're strange, you're different. Tattoos, like back in the day, no one had tattoos in China. Only criminals are like, would have
Bad guys,
tattoos.
yeah.
Yeah. So these dudes, like, it's crazy. They had like those West Coast Chicano style tattoos because they really like that kind of stuff. Like I remember them doing those bootleg lowrider bikes too, with the gold rims and all that. Like we had that in China, like at the time. And dudes would pull up with the braided hair. Someone had dreads and stuff like that. I'm not trying to say like cultural appropriation and nothing, but that was the style back then.
Wow, that's amazing. So in China, one of the things I was always wondering, is there any black population out there at that time?
So at that time, the black population were the Africans.
Got you.
Yeah, a lot of them came over. Most of them came to study or try to find work. But there was a time in China where Africans would get a bad rep because, not to say like the stereotypical, whatever, but they were the main pushers in Beijing. You try and look for something, you go to them.
You go to them.
Yeah. Like back in the day, Chinese people, we didn't even know who they was, or they were doing something else. So that's when they started having like a bad rep. And people started knowing, like, because they're not stupid, people see and they hear stories and they be bundled up. They had their own cliques. Most of them came from Nigeria. And there was one bringing in the work. And a lot of these dudes were diplomatic. So they couldn't be touched.
How did you avoid the influence of the drugs and, becoming a part of that dark?
Well, at first I didn't.
Oh, okay.
At first I was also like trying to get myself into like, where I belong, trying to find my circle. So, wrong crowd, started hanging out, wrong people. So I'd go to school, and every Saturday, like, because you sleep at school, Sunday evening to Friday afternoon, like late afternoon. So as soon as I got back home, Saturday 11-ish, or 10ish.
Mm-hmm.
I'd eat breakfast, take the bus, go, because I lived far from the city. Kind of like if you try to Long Island to Manhattan kind of distance. So I take the bus, an hour, 2 hour trip, just to hang out with my friends. So I'd be there, we'd be blasting music, doing our thing, and that's when I picked up smoking too, and drinking and all that. And then the bar street scene, because that was the main bar street. It's kind of like how you see in Thailand, that whole street, that red light district kind of vibe. The lights, the people, the crowded people, drinks, and over there back in the day, no one really cared if you drank and you were underage. Like we used to say, like people used to ask me, "What's the drinking age over there?" And I said, "Old enough, as long as you know if you can pick up the bottle, you got the strength to pick up the bottle, you could drink."
Is it still like that?
Nah, nowadays they're more tough on that.
More regiment.
Yeah, so chilling.
So what happened as you go through school? When did you graduate or get out of school, and what was your endeavors at that point?
So that was part of like middle school, high school, being just a stupid, dumb kid, hooligan, whatever. Kind of started changing when I got when I graduated high school. Um, After high school is when, you really got to start thinking about what you want to do.
Absolutely.
Because you make the wrong choice when you 17, 18, that's going to stick with you for a while, at least. If you try to change after that, it's going to be way more difficult. So I was really into filmmaking at the time. Like I wanted to direct or do some stuff like that. So my mom let me take a year off and work with shout out to my big sis Snow. She's a producer in Beijing. She's done a couple movies. She used to be out here in New York too. And yeah, she brought me around, showed me like the movie scene out there, the entertainment scene. And I tried that out for a while, and I was like, man, I don't know if it's gonna work.
How come?
Like the way I was brought up is,
You're very charismatic, so it seemed like that might have been your lane.
but see that my like if I mess with you, I mess with you. If I don't,
got you. Got you.
yo,
Totally understand.
yeah,
Something like that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Totally understand.
So I was more introverted to them at that scene because in that kind of work, in that kind of line of work, it's all bullshit. We dealing with bullshit every day. So didn't really work out. So then I was like, I'll just get like a normal degree or something, go for like marketing. So went to college, studied marketing. 4 years, didn't graduate though. Dad had some health problems, so I started taking over the family company. Started working for my mom's and them, doing
And that's with
import
the
export.
marble tables and.
Well, we were doing a lot more than that time. At that time, we had like what we call the alcohol boom era in China, where you can import, export wine, champagne, stuff like that, and it would just fly off the shelf.
Wow.
So we used to do that for a bit, like food, frozen food, and sell the bakeries and restaurants or whatever. We did that for a while. I was really passionate about food too. So during college, I opened up a little restaurant. It was just from, my mom and her friends, and, me and my friends, we have a little place to hang out. And I learned how to cook from my half brother on my dad's side, who's actually a chef. And he's been around like the world learning how to cook. And he taught me the basics. I messed around in the kitchen. Like at 13, I remember I can cook a whole Thanksgiving meal. like the turkey, the casserole, the stuff, and all that.
I still don't know how to do anything like that. Well, I have to go and cook the show and
Well,
watch
see,
you.
that's the thing though. Like when you like to eat and you in China and you can't find that, you gotta learn how to make it.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So when did you decide to venture on into, or did you venture on, or do you still control your
So
parents' business?
yeah, I still control it. Dad passed away two
Sorry to
years
hear
ago.
that.
Yeah, I mean, it's what it is. But after that, I was doing marketing for social media at the time, for like the Chinese version of TikTok and helping people with their food channels, like as a consultant. You know, if they wanted to do this recipe, I hook them up, teach them how to do it, make sure it looks good, boom. And then after that, you do that for a while. I still do the import export on some things.
Mm-hmm.
And then people came to me as like kind of like a middleman for basically whatever they need to find. So it's like, hey, yo, Jeff, do you know where I can do this and this and this? I'm like, yo, yeah, talk to that guy. He knows this and this and this. Like, yo, you know where I can get like a cheap busted down or old whatever secondhand car or something like that. Yeah, go talk to my man over here and stuff like that. I was that guy for a while.
No, okay.
You know, so but at that time it kind of gets tiring, you know, because you don't feel like you're doing something stable. You can't be the middleman for life, and it's hard to be the middleman, especially when you need to make sure that both sides are happy and make sure that you maintain what you're gonna get. Because they could just link up and just go, hey, screw you.
Uh, that's why you should always know who you're dealing with when it comes to that. But
Exactly.
being the middleman, it keeps you somewhat in a safe place because you can make the deals without having to make the investment, you know what I'm saying? And then you have the connections to both parties, and both parties kind of need you, you know?
Right, but it's not long term, you know what I mean? Because once you introduce them, sure, you get your cut the first few times, but long term, if they keep doing it, why they need you?
That's why you maybe make contract, you know?
Contracts can be easily broken.
Can be
You know what
broken.
I'm saying? Like,
You're right. I mean, I could suffer the same thing in my business, within my business of supplying people with security. They could try to, you know, whether it's a store, whether it's a person, whether it,
right,
you know, but that it's more temporary, believe it or not, than what I'm doing because if they engage in that, they're both shady. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
exactly. They have no
Exactly.
moral code.
Exactly. And those without the moral code actually their thing is becomes more temporary than
Exactly.
what I'm doing.
Exactly. You're always gonna be the guy that they're gonna come back to at the end. But at the end of the day, do I still want to mess with you though?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Me personally, absolutely not. I move on, you
Right.
know. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know, like I believe that your character,
Hmm.
can take you farther than your talent in certain times. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, sure, you're gonna have these shady people, you're gonna have these weird people around you, but then you really know, like, I know this guy's not gonna like, this guy's not gonna mess with me. This guy's not gonna. We could do long term business. So there's only a couple long term things that I got in motion, and just eat off that. And then I started realizing, okay, well, I need to start investing some of that money in something that I want to do and I can control myself. And that's when I started getting into the jewelry game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
So right now, what I'm doing is mostly wholesale lab grown diamonds,
Hmm.
and
And what are the lab diamonds?
so lab diamonds basically is like you have a seed of carbon,
Hmm.
place a little on a plate of carbon, put a little seed, a little diamond seed, and you grow it. It's basically a clone of a real diamond. So let's say Bigga.
Mm-hmm.
Put you in a machine, grow another Bigga.
I didn't even know they could do something like that.
You the real Bigga,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't say the clone is not Bigga.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're both Bigga, the same DNA, same everything.
And they can do this with a diamond.
And they do this with the diamond. And they can do that with rubies now, sapphires, all those.
So that's what lab diamonds mean.
That's what lab diamonds really mean. It's not like fake diamonds. It's not what these people call fake diamonds, you know, whatever, moistener, whatever they call it.
It's a clone.
It's a clone. Same DNA, just grown in a tube.
So, you know, within the hip hop community that you like, you know, jewelry is like something very big. And I watch lately, you know, we have jewelers that are going on and they're trying to expose many rappers saying, oh, this guy jewelry is fake, or this guy jewelry is cheap, or is not cut right. Or can you elaborate to me, what does all of that mean? Because I don't even understand myself.
So you see these dudes on TikTok, YouTube, or whatever, and they're like, all right, let's check out these rappers' watch. Let's just start with watches, all right? So watches you can get like, and I didn't bring any jewelry with me because, you know, they would have taxed me at customs and I didn't want it.
Absolutely.
But so let's say you got a bust down rollie or whatever. So these dudes zoom in and be like, okay, that's not the original case. That's not the original bracelet. That's not the original dial. That's all aftermarket. Okay, it is aftermarket. Diamonds is real. The movement inside, probably real. All you paying is just for the metal and the diamonds. You can't say that it's fake. You just didn't want it that way. You know, he didn't want to pay like for a factory blasted out would be like $1 million plus.
Ooh.
Who gonna pay that? You do one with lab diamonds, we could do it in 18, 14, no, 18 is probably the best because it's more platinum as well. If we bust down something, it'll cost you like 30.
So when I was growing up, you never heard any lab diamonds, you know. That was
No, it existed, but for industrial purposes. So like drill tips. Like when you go to the dentist or industrial drills and all that, they would use synthetic carbon like diamonds. But it wasn't until recently they realized that if we cut it the way that we cut diamonds, we can make jewels out of it.
Okay. So, what's your position on the rappers? Are they wearing? Is the quality of jewelry like? Say, for instance, this was one of the things that I was always curious about. I would be with artists and I protect them and I go downtown, you know, doing their armed security, and I go to them to the top, these so-called top jewelers, without even saying any names.
Yeah, that's not saying no names.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm there, you know, I'm there protecting these guys, and I watched them buy jewelry and spend. I mean, literally, I've been with them and watched them spend $1 million on jewelry. And my position would be, I would look and I would say, the jeweler don't have on no jewelry whatsoever. And I always wanted to know I'm like, and nobody he works for is wearing no jewelry. And then he have on even a wedding ring that don't have no diamonds or no anything, and it's just a plain band, but he's selling millions of dollars worth of jewelry, and with a smile on his face, and
Oh, of course he has a smile
yeah,
on his
of
face. Yo,
course.
if I'm selling 1 million diamonds of jewelry, I'm smiling too.
Yeah. So, but my thing would be is because I don't know, you know what I'm saying. So I'm like, these guys ain't smarter than I am. How do you know what they're selling you?
Well, that's the thing. See, so, all right, the way that the jewelry industry works, there's All right, let's say like the shadiest practices right now would be what we call recycled jewels and recycled metals. So you go to the pawn shops. These pawn shops every day they got somebody in that wants to pawn off their ring or pawn off their chain and whatever. Now these guys aren't stupid. They're gonna check the quality. They're gonna make sure it's gold or they're gonna make sure whatever it is, it's authentic. Then they're gonna cut you probably like 50% of actually the gold worth if you don't know. Because they're taking advantage of you at the end of the day. They know you're desperate or else you wouldn't be at the pawn shop. You go to the pawn shop. Let's say you got a ring you want to sell, engagement ring. Pop out the rock, keep it, store it, melt down the gold. And they do this in bundles. And they know that the jewelers are going to come and try to collect because they can get it for cheaper. Or you can go to a direct source, but without cost you more. So the spot price plus an extra, I think it was 20%, I think. Well, that's how it works in China. So let's say a gram of gold is like 490 Chinese money, right? You pay like 510 for the spot. If I did the same thing where I'm buying it off of the pawn shops and whatever, I just do like a 18 karat is like 75% gold. So you do 75% of, let's say 490, well, let's say 500. I don't have to pay the extra 20 and I get a discount on that. So I can remake that into jewelry. And the stones, because ain't no pawn shop, it doesn't matter how, unless you got a huge rock, like let's say like 20 carats, 10 carats, 5 carats, something like that. Even then, they're probably going to give you 30% of what you paid for it.
30%.
30%. They're going to sell it to the wholesalers. The wholesalers are going to buy it for a little bit because the guy needs a margin. He needs to make his margin. They're going to buy up all the stones, sort them out, boom.
One of the things that I would see, the guys would get like, just like a plain rollie, but they get bust down rollies.
Bust downs, yeah.
With all the, how
Yeah.
much are those worth?
Now, if you want to talk, let's say original watch, and let's say yours, for example, right? If I took it apart, I changed the bezel, changed the dial, bracelet, if you want to keep the original bracelet, which I wouldn't recommend you do. But
No, okay.
if we were to drill holes in that, just add diamonds, just the diamonds itself, you're looking around, lab grown, right? You're looking around $8,000.
All right, I see these guys paying 30, 40,000 for a watch.
The jewelry business is like the biggest.
Wait up, that's what they're
It's a
paying.
300% markup, at least.
So the watch is only worth about $8,000.
No, the diamonds. If you pay, let's say you bought the plain rollie. Yeah, so the watch itself, like right now, which is a nice piece, that keeps its value. But once I start drilling holes in it, it's over. No one's gonna want that unless you're in that market for the bust down. But if you want to like go back and resell your stuff on the gray market, let's say, or do trade-ins or something like that, people would rather take the plain than the bust down.
So the ones that's in the store that go for 30, 40,000, all put together. How
The
much
bust downs?
Yeah. How much is that watch exactly worth?
So I recently did some Cartier, the Santoses, the square ones, right? Those ones were like at cost. I'm gonna give you the cost prices now. Now, if you hit me up and you try to get the same prices, that ain't
Of
happening.
course, yeah, of course.
So the watch itself, well, the markets are different in China and the U.S.
Of course.
So if I get the plain Jane, without any papers, because if you're gonna bust it down, you don't need the papers, you don't need the box. That's gonna run me around anywhere from 3K to 4, depending on the condition and all that.
Wow.
Then if I wanted to bust it down, that's an extra 5. depending on the size of stones you want too,
So
and the clarity. The
that's
cut.
8,000,
8.
and then you put your fee on it. So
I don't do what these jewelers do.
mhm.
So if I was to sell it to you, I'd probably sell it for 13, 12.5.
Wow, so the same watch that you'll sell for 13 or 5 is the watch that
They
the
buying for
rappers are
30.
buying for $30,000 and $40,000. This is amazing. And like I said, so I saw you smile when I said that the jewelers are never wearing no jewels.
It's the same reason why you don't see billionaires dripped out in Louis Vuitton and Gucci. They know. If you're in the fashion industry, you're not spending your money on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever industry you're in, you know what's going on. You know the markups. Let's talk about liquor. You think Moet and Chandon's or let's say Dom Perignon's actually worth that 200? Nah, it costs is around 12. My man, I went there in Paris. I went to where they make it. I know those dudes. My pops used to have his own champagne brand with a partner of his.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
You have connections with that?
yeah.
We have to talk. I don't promote the alcohol, but as you know that
Right.
my non-alcoholic drinks I would need help with,
We could do cider, apple cider.
apple cider.
It's the non-alcoholic champagne.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
You ever had apple cider, sparkling apple juice, or whatever they call it?
Not now.
Well, there's a place in Normandy. It's great for that.
Oh wow, and it's good.
Yeah, Normandy is famous for the apple products.
Oh, that sounds. We'll talk later on that. Yeah, because I'm definitely totally interested in, providing for the people an alternative. You
Right.
can have alcohol as for all people. It's not just one is something that it causes a lot of trauma.
Problems, yeah.
We shouldn't promote that, and there's so many platforms that I see promoting it. But getting back to the jury, because I'm completely interested. The chains.
The chains. All right, let's talk about the chains.
Yes, let's talk about the chains.
So
I feel like I get my little chain. I know, it's nothing because I'm with these guys. And I'm watching them spend $100,000, $150,000 on a chain. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, can you explain to me how that all works? It's a chain thing, no different from mine, but
Nah, they'll tell you something like, yo, this is a VVS, 18 karat, whatever. So gold is always going to keep its value. So depending on the weight of it, how many grams, you're going to pay that price. Then you're going to pay the diamond price and the work fee. And when you got like these upscale places that have a name and they have a brand already, there's storefronts, you got employees, you got marketing, you got, all that. That's part of the cost in that chain too. Don't forget that. So nowadays with the Cubans, what they do is they mass produce it now. Like China, I know a dude. He does like about more than a couple hundred a day, and he's shipping around the world. But let's say like a 14 karat, something that weighs around, let's say 300 grams, plus the diamonds, probably have around 20 carats. Just the diamonds. Let's just use your chain for an example, right? The cost of the diamonds, remember this, I'm not going to sell you the same price.
Of course.
Would be probably around $1,000. Lab grown.
Grand.
Yeah. Now, when you hear them say VVS's, when you're talking about little stones, it doesn't matter if you're VVS or if it's SI or whatever. You can't tell the difference. As long as it's cut nice, the color's nice, that's what matters when you talk about little stones. It sparkles just as much as the VVS's. When you want to go a carat and up, that's when you want the gooder, the better quality. You know, like I recently gave Big Sis the Rock. Now that's, you see the difference when it's
I was
big.
going to ask you, do you mind me showing you?
No, go ahead. All certified too.
Can we get a zoom in? And I can't begin to tell you how much I
It's all love,
greatly appreciate this. This means, you know, like everything to us. You know, I can, you know, we can receive a better gift. So you could go ahead and explain, you know, this to the people while I show it to them. You can
That's a 2.11 carat. I believe it's VVS 2. D color, excellent cut. You got the 2 E's, not the 3 E's on this one because
she just said it's beautiful. She loves it. And I have more to show.
and those are for like the tennis bracelets, you know, those tennis bracelets and the tennis chains that people like to rock. So you told me last time she wanted an 8-inch one, so we measured it out. Those are 3.7 millimeters. Those are VS. There's a mixture, I think, in there. VS 2-to-1. Now, let's say, for example, you get the same tennis chain from a dealer. Retail, that's going to cost you probably around $3,000, to like something like that. I do it probably. My retail would be like around 18, 17, something like that, depending on the sizes.
All right, so yeah, please keep explaining about how this works, because I have no idea about
Well, I
this
mean, it's
business.
simple, really. It's just lab grown. You put the seed in, wait. It's like making a baby, and you just wait, cut it.
So the chains, again, the chains and the jewelry that these guys are spending, like, again,
Most of
I've
them
been
mass
with them. A guy get about 2-3 chains,
right?
a watch.
But it's also that
He spent $1
feeling.
million.
Yeah, but that's also a thing where you have bragging rights. Like, yo, I just spent $1 million on a chain. Whoop-de-woo. Remember when who's that rapper that got the diamond on his forehead?
Oh yeah,
Remember him? What was
Little
that?
Uzi Vert.
Lil Uzi Vert. Now that, first of all, ain't no natural pink diamond that would cost him that. If that was real, we're talking 5 to 10 million.
Wow, good stuff here, Jeff. Yes.
Lab, because lab are colored diamonds. When you do it in a lab, it's more expensive, way more expensive. But it's still way cheaper than natural. And I'll explain why. It's because when you do it with different gas. And you're in the chamber, you use gases to compress and create that atmosphere, like a natural atmosphere, where you mold it into like that crystallized form. So with the color ones, you use a different kind of gas. Different gases give you different colors. However, when you grow in it on a block like this, right, that color variation isn't going to be in unison. So you might have like really pink over here. You might have a different shade over here. So when you cut it, you're only going to get probably like that much of the same color. So it's really hard to grow like really big lab grown diamonds.
So what was that he had?
It was lab grown completely. Because a rock that big, if it was real, should be in a museum.
Wow.
And he put it on his forehead.
Wow, this is amazing stuff. Do he know that?
Oh, he know that.
Oh, he knows.
If he don't know that, yo.
But how would they know? Because again,
Well, see, that's what's problem. That's the problem with the jewelers nowadays. This is what I hate about this industry too. No one's honest with each other.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
You're not
I
honest
don't
with the
see the
customer.
jeweler. I'm there. I'm standing there with these rappers. I don't see the jeweler explaining any of this stuff to them. I just see them there smiling and go get this piece. Go get this piece.
Now, let's say, like, as a businessman, your main motive is what? it's making money, right?
Yeah, from a business perspective.
From a business. Now, me, I have a certain belief that everyone deserves to shine. And I've been ripped, like, I bought stuff before and I've been ripped off. Like, wait, what? When I tried to resell it or trade it in or something like that. Because I used to have this nice little pinky ring in it, whatever. And then that was a real diamond, like a carat something. And I paid. I'm not gonna say how much I paid because I'm look stupid now and I'm talking about it. But yeah, try to trade it in or do a like a upgrade or something like that. They're like, yeah, we can only do this and this. I was like, whoa, hold on, I paid way more than that. So I felt that as a consumer. I don't want other people to feel that. So when I like my stuff, when I tell you, I'm gonna give you the best price because I want you to come back. I want to do long-term business. You cheat someone once, you do it again, that's their fault. They stupid, but you smart people, they'll never come back. You're not doing good business if you're doing that. It don't matter. I'm not like Jacob. I'm not like Jacob out here doing all that. Like I ain't big like him.
But what does Jacob do?
Oh, he does real stuff. His stuff's legit. But like brand names, the cost is there. It's in the name.
So Jacob does lab diamond or
I think he does both now.
he does both.
Nowadays, lab diamonds are, but they have to tell you it's lab. They have to.
They have to tell you it's lab.
Yeah. And if you buying anything that's a carat and up, make sure it's certified. You can't certify the small stones.
So is it worth so the chains again that they're buying that I see that don't be no bigger than mine, but they might be paying $100, $100,000 for. Those are not lab diamonds, those are real diamonds.
Even if they're real diamonds, those little diamonds,
it doesn't make sense that
it's not even worth that much.
It's worth, got you. That's good information to know. And then I see the pieces don't be no different, but yeah, I'm like, I look at
Plus,
the price he's saying, the chain goes for 100,000 or better. And I'm
I can do the same thing right there. For like the whole thing, probably 20, depending on gold prices nowadays, right? I'm just saying, just the diamonds itself. I ain't gonna pay more than like probably 5.
Wow, that's crazy. That's absolutely amazing stuff to learn right there. I don't know, because like I said, I watched this and I always have wondered. I know you're not smarter than I am, so how do you know what you are buying? And you just spent $1 million on this, and this jeweler doesn't have on any jewelry. So I was with, in no names, I was with downtown because they don't buy the jewelry from the stores. The rappers don't. They have a special place that the jeweler be at, like in one of the
it's like a private room or something like that?
It's the whole private store, whole private thing. That's where, I go with the rappers at. They're not getting that stuff there. And, when I'm protecting them, bodyguarding them. I listened to this day. So after the guy bought about $1 million worth of jewelry, you know what I'm saying? Different, chunked up chains and the watch, just how they be looking. The guy said, I want to show you something.
Oh, that's the hook. That's the hook.
He went in the back.
Of course, he pulled out a special piece, I bet.
Yeah, no, wait, listen. He went in the back and he came back out with a box.
Okay.
He said, he looked at the jewelry, he said, I'm going to show you something. And I'm like, he was almost trying to school the rapper or teach him something. That's the most he ever said. Let me just show you something. He said, it's only 3 of these.
In the world.
He opened it up. It was the most plainest, No diamonds, no nothing. I swear it looked almost like a bubblegum watch. It was just very plain. I can't think of the name that he said it was, but it was in a special box, special everything. And he said, it's only 3 of these. It's this one and one of the biggest rappers in the world, without saying his name. He said he has one, and then some other guy, business mogul, he has one. You know, he said, guess how much this watch costs? So the rapper was looking at it like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, a few $100,000 or something like that. He said, no, this watch is $1 million by itself.
Well, no, that could be possible. With watches, it's a different game. Cause you got limited editions, you got like discontinued. It's all about like.
Now, and I'm thinking, what would make that watch $1 million? $1 million?
Yeah, you got plenty of watches that are like $1 million and up. That Tiffany and Co. Patek recently sold at auction for like $6 mil. I was just in Hong Kong where there was another Patek. It was, I forgot which one it was, but there's like only like 10 in the world or something like that. That one sold for $10 million.
Do you know how many people could be fed? How many communities could be?
I'm there with you. I'm there with you, man.
How many communities could be helped? Like how. Exact. I'm just not understanding. You have.
It's like antiques. It's like works of art. Yeah, the value is in the eye of the beholder.
Wouldn't it be more value going into spending that money into a community and building or helping build some places where these kids could go and
I mean, I'm with you on that.
Wow.
But some people just got that really FU money. They don't care. 10 million to them is probably just like, us buying a bottle of water, something like that.
So being that you were in hip hop, who would you say actually, because this is one of the things I see on the internet, they say Rick Ross jewelry is this, and they say DJ Khaled, and he have good quality stuff. Like, from you being a jeweler, who would you say you're impressed with when you see them with their jewelry? Who would you say they wear good quality jewelry?
I gotta go Fat Joe.
Fat Joe?
Fat Joe.
Oh, okay.
He's got clean stuff.
Oh, yeah?
He's got clean stuff.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't know if they lab or not, but I know the jewelry company where he buys his stuff from, he promotes them heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the same one that they work with French Montana and Khaled and all them. But they do really good work. I ain't gonna lie. But their prices be ridiculous too.
Wow.
But I think they got deals too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like sponsorships too.
That's good. I wouldn't have thought you would have named him, but shout out to Fat Joe.
Yeah, Fat Joe. Oh, Fat Joe, by the way, first concert ever I've been to in my life. Fat Joe, Beijing.
Oh, yeah?
I held up the BX sign and everything.
Oh, he performed, Joe performed in Beijing?
Yeah.
Oh, shout out Joe,
Yeah.
Wow.
Big pun forever. I was just at the mural yesterday.
Speaking about, them performing, if the black population is not large there, I mean, how much percentage is the black population?
Oh, it's growing now. Beijing is not as much as before. I think they're moving to like more second tier, third tier cities. So when you see them more down south, Shanghai, Sichuan, Guangzhou, places like that.
But at a Fat Joe concert, who's there?
Oh no, back in the day, that was like 2000s. Yeah, Fat Joe was popping. We were leaning back. Yo, back in the day.
But they didn't know what he was saying.
Oh no, they know.
Oh, they know?
They know. They know. When he said lean back, everybody leaned back, man. Not because hip hop fans like evolved.
Absolutely. From when you was a kid.
Yeah. In China, so people started really getting into the lyrics and the understandings and like the whole. Like, so they'd be asking me like, what does lean back mean? It's just like, it's a dance. It's like, do that.
Yeah, getting into that, we see here, in the inner cities, especially for New York. That's the most, I could make an example of, because this is, my home where I was born and raised at, and even in the South, though, it's like that in the South. It seems to be a bridge in between our communities,
You talk about Asian and
Yeah,
blacks.
yeah, exactly. It seemed like the Asians here are, especially the ones that happen to be in the Chinese stores that we do major, major, major business with. They seem to not like us. They
You
seem,
go now.
yeah, exactly, yeah, exactly. They seem, it was, what started that? How
That's
come?
the old school mentality. It's like you fear what you do not know. Because in China, it's like back then, no one saw like a black person walking around. Like it's very rare. Like I remember just even me looking the way I do when I walked around Beijing, like the first couple of years being there, I was getting stared at. I thought I was like a supermodel or something.
Yeah,
Like the way they'd be staring at me, looking, trying to figure out like where's he from. Like even
wow,
white people had that problem.
wow, okay.
So going back to that, like me growing up personally, never had any problems with like black people.
Hmm.
Like my dad had black employees.
Hmm.
My dad was actually married to a black woman before he married my mom.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I got two brothers and a sister in France that are half black.
Oh, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our family never had any problem. My first crush when I was in 6th grade, she was Jamaican.
Look at what a mix that would have been.
Yo,
Hmm.
yeah. I think she married now though.
Hmm.
Let's not get back into that. I don't want that heartache, you know.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
But yeah, like me, I never have like even today. Like there's not as much black people in Beijing, but yeah, there's a couple still, and so I never understood that problem either.
Hmm.
When like people would say that there was like a beef between Asian and the black community, because where I come, like the way I was raised and whatever, I was never taught that. Like you stay away from black people, they're no good.
They
No,
didn't teach you that.
nobody taught me that.
Because they say, we hear the rumor that y'all are taught from children that like we are monkeys and we're like some type of animals, and that, to stay away from us. That's what, we get that message, that's what they say, that y'all are taught from children. And then when we go in and deal with the ones that are running the stores and all that stuff like that, it almost seems like they have an embedded hatred for our culture. And
That's funny
yeah,
you say that, because like let's say you're talking about like when you was younger,
yeah,
right?
absolutely, yes.
So that would be what, like what kind of what year was that? Decade are we
Definitely
talking about? Like the 80s,
the late 80s,
the late
90s.
80s. So okay, a person running that store would probably be like what 40, 50, or like let's say around that age, 40ish.
Yeah. Hmm.
So if her parents taught her that, they probably never even seen a black person before. If in China, if they came from there, you would probably see them more in Korea and Japan because of the army bases and whatnot. But in China, where you gonna see a black guy? You never even see a black guy in those days.
So I was told that
China just opened up in 1950 something. Remember that?
mhm. I was told that China had big trade with Africa.
We still do.
So they wouldn't have been familiar with,
Well, not back then. We didn't have big
not
trade with
bad. All
them.
right, so that wasn't going on, and
Mm-mm.
this is more recent.
Back then, it was mostly America and Europe that
Got
we
you.
traded with.
I know as a kid, me and all my guys, everybody, we loved Bruce Lee. Every Saturday on the weekend, we all used to go down to Times Square and try to watch all the karate flicks, you know, the whole time. I mean, so it was, I wouldn't say that the conflict originally, initiated with us. But one of the things I will say that It's funny what these movies and these TVs would do to you and how much that can program something in your head.
Oh, definitely.
So they made a movie, which you would already know, called Menace to Society.
Yeah, that's when they was in the store, and
I
then
think that movie,
yeah, put it in people's heads.
exactly, that movie,
But
I think that movie did do some,
I talked to some of my homies in the West Coast, right? Because I got family out there as well. Like during the riots and all that, the Watts riots and all that. Before that, black people can go in their convenient, like that's what they were there for. Why would they do that and break their own business when in that they're set up in that neighborhood? Remind you, they gonna do that
yeah.
and destroy your own business?
Yeah.
You crazy? Asians, we cheap and we know we like money. Let's be, you know what I'm saying? We cheap, but we like money.
Mm-hmm.
We put up with anything, Thank you. We might say something when you leave, probably, but we're not gonna be like, hey, you go out now. No, I never seen that happen.
Did you see the episode I was on with Dr. Umar when he made fun of me because I said that I love Asians, I love white people, I love everyone, and he started saying, "Oh, you love the Asians," and he started antagonizing.
First of all, I saw that too,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want to say, Dr. Umar, do you, man? You do you, man. I don't know where you went into in China and what decade you went to, but that ain't how it like right now. So you go to Guangzhou, you got half mixed baby. You got many half mixed babies, half black, half Asians. You go to Africa right now because a lot of Chinese people immigrated over there too.
Which I've heard, and that has a point of contention because they try to say like it's being taken over. They say Jamaica. They say
Jamaica's been had like a Chinese kind of root to it. Because if you look at the cuisine and all that, like jerk chicken, right? Staple Jamaican food. One of the main ingredients, soy sauce. Where'd they get that from?
Okay, I didn't, I'm not a cook, so I didn't even know.
When you, like, Chinese people, been moving around. We were like the original, we've been slaves too. Let's be honest with that. We've been treated as shit too throughout history.
Mm-hmm.
We built the railroads here.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot of work in the West Coast. We built that whole line of, transportation and all that, being paid for nothing. We were slaves to the Japanese during the Sino-Japan War during World War II and that, being oppressed by them. We were almost genocided.
Yeah.
No one talks about that. They killed more of us than Germans did the Jews.
Whoa. And what that's another thing I never could understand either. Why do the Koreans and the Chinese and the Japanese, which to us on our end seem all the same, seem Asian, but not like if you would mistake a Chinese for a Korean or
they get upset.
They get very upset. Yes, they get
Well, first of all, it's a nationalistic pride kind of thing. I wouldn't say it's more like a hatred because I got brothers all over Asia. I got brothers Indonesia, Korea, Thailand, everywhere in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Vietnam. It's not that. It's like saying like, yo, you must be Haitian. It's like, nah, I'm Jamaican.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
It's not because I'm mad and I hate the Koreans or nothing like that. No, it's not that. But I'll tell you one thing. All Asians hate the Japs.
And why is that?
Why do you think? They conquered all the way down to Singapore.
That's why?
Yeah, massacre. You know what they used to do?
Mm-mm.
They used to have competitions to see who could chop off the most Chinese heads. And that's a game to them.
Why? Why are they doing that? What's the
They were trying. They was trying to take over Asia. They wanted to take over the whole world
That was
during World War II.
That's the reason why they just wanted to. They was just a group that just wanted to take
They sick in
over.
the head. You see the society and the movies they make and whatnot. Let's not even get into the other weird stuff, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm.
It's a weird society. I mean, my great-grandfather was at that time part of that, war. And he donated everything he could to make like a safe air air force base,
Mm-hmm.
so that the Japs couldn't bomb. It was like in a cave or something like that. There's a book about him, and he donated all his money to do that, just because it's like like a nationalistic patriotism kind of thing. It's like when I don't know how to say it. It's just we get taught. Like if you talk to a Korean, Chinese, Filipino, whatever, if you get taught like a generation before me,
Mm-hmm.
you would always hear your parents talk about the Japanese and how horrible they were. You get me?
Yeah.
It's like how the Jews still complain about Hitler and the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
It's embedded in the heinous crimes that they've committed. Heinous. They were the ones that invented concentration camps. Hitler learned from the Japs.
So, do you believe that? Do you believe that we're separated by culture and ethnic background? Do you believe that separates us?
I don't think it separates us. I think it gives us an opportunity to learn from each other,
Mm-hmm.
because at the end of the day, we're all human.
Mm-hmm.
So what if we breathe air?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, we breathe in the same air. We're all in the same room. What's dividing us? We're just here to learn from each other.
I agree with you. That's what I feel, and
The more you know, the less you hate.
yeah, I have a way that I look at it. God forbid you was blind. How
You
would I
wouldn't
know?
the difference.
How would I then judge you? Would I judge you like he's the Chinese, he's black, he's white, he's this, he that? Or what would be left for me to judge you on about how you treat me? Because I wouldn't be able to see your color.
I think I only judge people based on character.
Yeah, that's what I would have to judge you on if I couldn't see. If I couldn't see, it wouldn't be a color for me to see.
Right.
I could only judge on how I interpret it, how you treat me. And I think a lot of us think about that. It's like something to put in your mind, But again, I think that's a beautiful thing. Now, you just came back from Dubai. Tell me about that.
Oh, you know how foreigners can't get credit cards in banking. It's really hard to get money out. And I'm not saying I'm trying to. CCP, if you're watching this, I'm not trying to. I pay the taxes. I'm good over there, B. Don't come after me. I'm just trying to go to Dubai, get some investments, so I can have the opportunity to help China with their, their economic growth. That's all I can really say.
But how was it there? How is it a nice? Because I've never
I was
been
only
to
there
Dubai.
for 2 days as well, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Meeting one of my partners over there, great guy, African man from Angola. Shout out to Marinello. And we're doing some business with.
What are some of the other places you've been to?
I've been. I don't really like to travel. So I'm scared of heights. So, but when I do, I like to travel around Asia more.
Oh, gotcha.
And I got family in Paris, so I go to Paris often.
Okay. How's Paris?
Well, right now, not really good. It's kind of shitty.
Oh, boy. What's going on over there? Any reason?
Well, I think it's kind of like how outside looking in, like before I was coming to New York, I was like doing research, and you hear about like the migrant crisis and all that and all that. It's like the same thing in Paris nowadays. It's tent city. You get robbed.
Do you have
crime
any
zone.
position on the illegal immigrants? Do you have any position on how you might feel? I know does that affect y'all in China, or is that is just happening here in America?
In China, you got illegal immigrants too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, Myanmar, the border countries like Cambodia, Myanmar, mostly Vietnamese. They try to come through.
Mhm.
But I mean, at the end of the day,
What's your position here on that?
I mean, if you here, you're looking for an opportunity to survive, right?
That's what they say.
That's what they say, but you got to do as you say. Don't come in here and be like, yo, I mean, you just get off the
Becoming
country.
a gang problem, like say
That's
for
not how you say the gang problem, right?
Mhm.
If we have to pay our taxes for you to do nothing and live here and you're not contributing, I'm not with that. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I ain't going to pay you for you to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to come here for a better life, you get a job, you want to, send your kids to a better school, get a better education, so that maybe when he has a family, they get better opportunities and so on and so forth.
And I can see that in a good world, perfect world, I guess that's what it would be. But I see
But the reality is,
the reality is that a lot of them are coming here robbing, shooting, killing. I mean, if you look at the news, we dealing with it every day.
I think Biden really messed up this time.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? First
It
of all,
was
there's a border for a reason.
absolutely.
There's a border for a reason. If not, why don't you just tear it down and let anybody who's anybody just come in?
Yeah, why not?
Why do you got customs at the airport then? If you letting them in, let everybody in.
Hmm.
Don't even have customs now. Airplane, land, boom, you're here.
Yeah, I agree. You know, so tell me about your you have a friend that hopefully one day we'll be able to connect. I'm interested in him. What's his name again? With
Oh,
the
big bro?
yeah, big bro.
Big bro Johnny Chang. Shout out to him.
Johnny Chang. Shout
Yeah.
out to Johnny Chang. I
What's up,
watched.
man of God?
Yeah, exactly. I watched a few episodes that you put me on with him, and he has a pretty, he has, an impactful story.
Yeah.
Um, is there anything you could share or elaborate with him? And y'all go check out Johnny Chang. Hopefully, we could get him a part of the
Yeah.
show one day.
The
But
Johnny Chang.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I contacted him a couple times. I think, well, he's a busy man now as well.
But he comes from like a gang environment and was
Yeah,
able to
he's
turn that
like,
around and
but
give his
see,
life.
gang banging in West Coast is not like what we used to do as kids. Like back in, like, I'm not saying I was part of any criminal
Hmm.
organization or anything, but it's different than mainland than it is over here. Like even triads work different. You know what I mean? So
He's from the mainland. No, he's from over here, right?
no, he was born here.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
No, I know that's what it looked like.
Yeah, yeah, he's West Coast, LA, Valley, St. Gabriel Valley.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
Yeah. Nah, he's a cool dude. I remember talking to him. He was the one that really got me thinking about this, whole God thing and changed my life around. And
That's a good thing.
yeah, yeah.
That's a good thing. I think that
And everyone deserves, it doesn't matter who you used to be, it's who you're going to be.
yeah, like it doesn't matter.
Because we're all saved in God's eyes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you come from, and it doesn't matter where you at, but it matters where you're going.
Exactly.
I definitely, a big sponsor of that right there.
Now, he's a great man with a great message.
Yeah, that's great. Well, hopefully one day that we'll be able to get him on the show.
Yeah.
I look forward to me and the Queen coming to China. To say
Oh,
that.
you always welcome.
We're gonna try to make that trip to get out there with you definitely this summer. Because we've never been there. Yeah, we wanna have that experience.
Roll out the red carpet. Don't worry
See
about
that,
nothing.
yeah. Oh, one thing I wanted to ask you is, and because to dispel all, stuff, and you can explain it to me because I don't know, you know what I'm saying? And the people I'm sure want to know. Because they put this stuff, they blast it on the internet. You know what I'm saying? And if we look at it here, we be like going crazy, like, what is this? So it was always a rumor that, well, there's two things, two parts. So it was always a rumor when we was growing up, Space would know that, that they could do something with the rats and replace the rat in the food. You know what I'm saying? And that you had to be suspect of eating the Chinese food because they could use.
Oh, you talking about like the wet market foods and what you see, like rats and bats and
they actually have on the internet something where they make the rat like it almost the way they cook it and they cut it up.
It's a certain rat too.
it's like the baby hairless ones, right?
It's the rats that run in the rice field.
Uh-huh.
Those things. They basically use those rats they feed them rice.
They are using rats.
Well, it's mice.
It's mice, yeah.
And
but it's the mice in the rice fields where they're working with rice. So it's their it's like.
But it's in the food.
I don't eat that shit. I don't.
Not everybody. It's not in our food. No, I think it's they have.
But they were used to make rumors here that it's in the Chinese food.
Nah. We don't eat rat over there.
It's just.
I mean
that country, they eat that. They have it.
All right. So then the next part.
Like the weirdest thing I've ever ate was snake.
Okay, yeah, so the next part, and this one devastated me. I still have chills when I think about it. They put on the internet one day, and it seemed like a whole block, a whole street long, and it was dogs that.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're getting at. Like the killing of dogs or something like that. All right, so there's like this place in Yunnan. They have it's like it's a festival where they do that, but that's been outlawed, and you have certain people that are just sick in the head and do that shit. No, but that's outlawed.
I don't think it's sick in the head though.
Nah, they sick in the head.
Yeah, that's what's sick in there.
If you
a whole block.
I've seen people eat. I've eaten weird stuff. I got a show called Piggy Eater that I do with my man. Basically, it's a lot of weird stuff that people eat.
There's certain
different cultures.
Listen,
yeah.
If it's not like human beings, then it's like I don't think it's really that crazy.
Nah, man, we ain't. I don't know, y'all motherfuckers need to stop listening to that propaganda, man.
The sewer, they use the sewer, like they reuse
the oil
from the sewer.
All right, it's not from the sewer. First of all,
yes,
it's all the old oil that all the restaurant they collect from all the restaurants, and then they refine it. Not from the sewer. The name is Tigoyo sewer oil. It's the name, we call it that because it's garbage oil. But it's not from the sewer.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
No, exactly. This is,
Everybody's saying they get a different.
No, this is why we.
Yo, find me some oil in the sewer. I'm gonna make some money, man.
Yeah, but that's good clarity because these rumors go around and you don't know.
Y'all got oil in the sewer here in New York, man.
No,
we
I don't know
They're
nothing.
talking about China. They see these things.
Well, I'm just saying, in the sewer, where you gonna find oil?
No, yeah.
It's like, the garbage oil that you use.
No, it's garbage. It's refined oil that all the dirty oil they collect from like the restaurants, and then they refine it. And because it's cheap that way, But no, you can taste it when they use that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a certain taste to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. Basketball is very big.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, tell me something about basketball. Don't they have
They have the Chinese Basketball Association.
and
Yeah.
it's getting bigger and bigger.
It's getting bigger and bigger. Stephon Marbury was the first one that broke that barrier.
That's
And
what
shout out to him.
Shout out to Stephon.
I met him at the Beijing Pizza Cup thing where Joe's Pizza was opening up that year. And yeah, got to meet him. He's a real solid, cool dude. And yeah, but basketball has been huge. It's been huge. Been huge. I remember like back in the day, Nike stores, they were like blowing up with jerseys and, you know, those Adidas with Allen Iverson was a huge thing back in the day.
Yeah, of course.
Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant, not so much LeBron James. I came afterwards, but when I first got there, Michael Jordan. What that was crazy. They love basketball over there.
Yeah, I noticed. How's I think he used to play for the Houston Rockets.
Yao Ming?
Yeah.
Frankenstein?
What happened to Yao Ming? Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
that
he all
dude's a
right?
Frankenstein, man. I don't even know what happened. I think they sent him back to the lab or
Oh.
something.
Because I was like, I'd never seen an Asian guy that, you know, tall, but
Yeah,
Yao
you see
Ming.
that look in his eye? He dead inside.
Oh, boy.
Now, there's a rumor going around where, like, he was, like the government picked out his parents
Yeah.
to make this super athlete. Yeah, they were
Yeah?
experimenting with that, yeah.
There's another tall guy from Asia too.
That's me.
Like, I'm talking like over 7 foot something.
No, there's a couple. There's a couple. Yeah, one of my good friends, shout out Nanny. He's like he's like 6'2", 6'3". We call him Yao Ming Jr. because he's got the same dead eyes.
That's amazing, man. So, tell the people if they wanted to contact you, you know, to try to get some jewelry, how would they be able to get in contact with you?
Instagram, Jeff L Bonnet. Got watches too. Just tell me what you want and I'll hook it up. You want that Frankenstein? You want the original? You want the whatever? I ain't here to mess with you. I want everybody to shine. Everybody deserves to shine. We'll just work with your budget, you know? We'll see what we can do.
Anything you want to say to the people back home or anything like that?
Shout out to all my friends out there. If you guys can get on YouTube, you probably can't, so
Not on the
you know
show,
what
I
I'm
guess.
saying?
Yeah, like this, because plenty of people going to see this.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you for giving me
I
the
appreciate you,
opportunity, man.
brother. You know what I'm saying?
It's all love, man.
I think it's stuff like this that makes us grow closer.
Exactly,
You know, we
exactly.
need this. You know, the people need to see stuff like this.
Definitely.
And I appreciate you. You
I
always be my
appreciate you,
brother.
man. You as well, man.
Definitely.
It's all love.
And I'm going to close out with that. You will see Jeff again because this is my brother. Next time you see him, I'll probably be in China with him. I'll be
Vlogging.
sitting down with him. You know what I'm saying?
Have
Shout
a
out
ball.
and
Take care.
peace.
Much love to everybody.